Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. As you see by today's title, I have 10 Halloween DIYs that you are absolutely gonna love, and boy do I have a video for you because today it is sponsored by TEMU and there is a great $100 coupon surprise for you. But before we get started on that, a little bit about today's sponsor, TEMU. If you haven't heard of TEMU, it's this great app that you can download for free and can find thousands of awesome things with amazing prices. This month is TEMU's 1-year anniversary sale, which is for the whole month of September, where you can shop thousands of items for 90% off on their selected products for their Shop $1 anniversary sale. Now, how do you receive your $100 coupon? All you have to do is download the TEMU app with this link here. It will also be linked in the description box below and in the comments section. Then use my coupon code, which is here on the TEMU app, to claim the coupon bundle. Now, you must use the app to get all of these awesome deals. Thank you, TEMU, for sponsoring today's video. Now, with all that being said, let's just jump right into it and let's art today. For our first DIY, I am going to use TEMU's decorative paper that looks like book pages and scrapbook paper that looks vintage. These things are so awesome. I believe you get 6 to 8 in a pack and they have so many different designs on them. I really love this book paged one. This is the main one that we are going to use, but I also use the other decorative paper as well. Now, if you are a big scrapbooker person, this is the place to go because there are thousands of images that you can choose from, but I really love this spooky one here. Next, like I said, I am going to use some of this decorative paper that has some different patterns on it as well. Those skulls are really awesome, but I decided to use this black and white one instead. This DIY is so easy and very customizable, so you can change it up however you like. Once again, here is the rest of the decorative paper. Now, the second thing I need for this DIY is any kind of book that you have on hand. Now, I have this 4x6 photo album that I purchased from Dollar Tree a long time ago. I personally think it's better to do this way than actually tearing up a book, but if you have just an old book, I suggest using that too. Now, I was trying to remove the tag, but I am going to paint over it anyway. So the first thing I needed to do was remove the little tab in the front. You can always put a picture there, but I have something else in mind that I want to put in that little square. I wanted to paint the front cover first with using just black acrylic paint, so I'm going in with my brush and painting it all over the front and back cover. Now, I do give it about 1 coat of this paint because I am going to layer it with other colors, so I wasn't too worried about getting full coverage, but I wanted to make sure that you wouldn't be able to see any of that turquoise coming through. This year I have been more obsessed with my Halloween decor looking antique, and I really love this bronze color that I have in my basic acrylic paints. All I did was dip it into a paintbrush and I'm lightly painting it in various places just to make the book look really old and antique. After I was done placing all of the bronze where I like it, another way to age a book that I like to do is just to add layers of paint right on top of each other. So that is what I did. I took some gray acrylic paint and just layered it right on top of the bronze colored and blended it in as much as I needed to just to give me the desired look that I'm going for. That had time to dry. I then worked on the inside of the book. This time I'm going in with my folk art home decor chalk paint in the color Java, which is just a dark brown, and I'm painting all of the inside with this color. Now, at first I was just going to do the inside covers, which is the front and back, but then I realized I wanted the whole inside to be this really dirty looking old book. So then I started painting all of the side edges of the pages as well. And when that was dry, I then started painting each page individually and waited for that to completely dry to paint the next page on until the whole book was covered in this Java paint. Now, I do want to mention using chalk paint is much better than using acrylic paints because you will have to use more layers of acrylic paints to get the desired look that chalk paint does with one layer. I wanted to make sure that it looked really old, so I went in all different directions to make sure that the pages looked like they have been around for 100 years. This is how the book turned out after it had time to completely dry, and I absolutely love how it looks. Like I mentioned, I did go in all different directions, and I didn't paint all the way in the center because I am going to cover that with the decorative paper that I showed you earlier. But just look how this book turned out with just a little bit of paint. Now it is time to decorate the book with using that decorative paper, and I want to start on the inside and the back side of each cover. Like I mentioned, I am using this black and white pattern one. It is absolutely beautiful, and it is like this Victorian pattern that it reminds me of. So I am just going to lay it flat right on the inside of the cover, fold it over so I know exactly where to cut, took a pair of scissors and cut it down to size. Now for video purposes and the way I like to do some of my DIYs for it to go a little bit faster, I am just using my hot glue gun to attach this paper down. Now I know that doesn't go well with a lot of people, however it works well for me, so that is what I'm doing, but you can always use Mod Podge or a glue stick if that works for you. I did the same exact thing for the back cover, and just look how awesome this looks just with one piece of paper. Now it's time to decorate each one of the pages, and with these TEMU decorative pages, all of the work is done for me. All I had to do was glue them into place. To help me out a little, I did fold them in the center so that I know exactly where to glue them down, and once again I am using my hot glue gun to attach them down to each one of those pages. Now I had my glue gun on set to high, so I suggest using a low temperature glue gun, but either way I loved how it turned out because when the pages were a little crinkled, it just made it look more old, and that is the look that I'm going for. I will continue adding pages throughout my whole book here, but before I added any more pages, I wanted to add a little bookmark. Now to make my bookmark, I'm just using some jute twine, and I'm just going to glue it right into the crease on the next page. Then I hold the twine into place until it dried a little, and then I'm just going to add another page from this awesome collection right on top, and that will be my little bookmarker. I'm going to continue adding pages throughout the whole book like I mentioned until I got the desired look and it is completely filled. Once that was done, here is how the book looks so far. I absolutely love it. Now the best thing about using this as a book, when you turn the pages it has this crinkly sound because it was plastic behind it. Now to decorate my bookmark, I have some of these wooden cutouts from TEMU. These are like their little laser cutouts, and they have so many different designs, and I believe you get over 50 pieces in each bag, which is awesome. I just picked out two tombstones that I really liked, and I'm just hot gluing it down onto that jute twine. Then flip it over and glue on the other tombstone, and then I will cut off the excess jute on the bottom of it, and that is it for my little bookmark. After I was done with that, the last thing I needed to do for this book was to finish the cover. There was this little square piece that I didn't finish painting, so I am doing that now. As you see here, I'm going in with my Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Java, which is just a dark brown, and I'm painting it all over because I want to put this spider right here for the cover, but it was just a little bit too dark. I really wanted that spider to pop, so I took another decorative paper from TEMU, cut it down to size and glued it into place, then glued the spider right on top, and that completes this first half of the DIY because the second half is coming up now, which is making the stand for our book. The first thing I wanted to use for my stand are these skeleton hands that I found on TEMU. These are so nice, and it is really nice plastic piece, feels really sturdy, and it comes with a bunch of detailing on it, which is really nice, so I don't have to do so much work to it. The next part that I need is a lid and this candlestick that I have from Dollar Tree. I want to first paint the lid and the candlestick in this Rust-Oleum flat spray paint. So I took it outside and gave it a couple of coats. Here's what it looks like after it is completely dry. Now I will set that to the side so that I can start working on those skull hands. The only thing I wanted to do was just make them look a little bit more creepy. So I'm adding a little bit of that folk art home decor chalk paint in the color Java and really add it all over the hands just to make it a little bit darker. They are perfect as is, but for my purposes I just wanted to add a little bit more detail. That everything is completely done, it is now time to assemble everything together. All I needed to do was glue the lid onto the candlestick, and I'm just using my hot glue for this and adding a lot to the top of the candlestick, flipping it over right onto the lid. Now I placed it on the top of the lid because I wanted my skull hands to fit nicely in the little dip of the lid, so that's why I did it that way. Now I'm just trying to visualize where I want my hands, and I placed a big dollop of hot glue, stuck my hand into it, and then held it into place until it dried completely. For added support, I did squeeze in a little wooden cube on the back of it just to give it another support and hold the hands into place. The last little bit for this stand is to add a little bit more detail, mostly some creepy cloth and some paint to hide some of that hot glue that is holding the hands. So that is what I'm doing now, and then I will cut it down to size. I will also paint the stand using that bronze color in my basic acrylic paint because I wanted this to look a little bit more antique. Once again, I'm just adding it to a paintbrush and then brushing it on, and then after that was done, all I needed to do was add on the book, and that completes this DIY. This is hands down my favorite DIY in today's video. I absolutely loved how it turned out. Now there is so many different things that you can do with this DIY. As you see here, I placed the book right on the thumbs and it's holding it into place. Even the back of the book looks amazing. You could have it opened from the front or the back all around your house, and this will be a great addition to your home decor. Our next DIY of the day was inspired by this scrapbooking paper that I had on hand. I wanted to make a terracotta pot in that inspiration scrapbooking paper. So the first thing that I did was just paint the whole pot in a black acrylic paint. Next, I'm going in with my basic acrylic paints in the color bronze, and I'm lightly dry brushing it all over the pot once again because I am just loving this look. Now, if you have been following my channel, you know I have been on a terracotta painting kick, but when I saw these stickers on TEMU, that helped me visualize how I wanted to decorate this pot. These are amazing, and there are so many DIYs you can do with stickers, but just look at the details on these stickers. They are just absolutely beautiful, and I have many more DIYs in the future that I want to use these with. However, I want to put a lot of these all over my terracotta pot, so I am just going to pick out my favorites and then place them to the side so that I can place them right on top of my pot. Now that I have all of my favorite stickers that I want to use for my terracotta pot, all I have to do is remove the backing and start sticking them on to the terracotta pot. It is that simple. Now the inspiration came from that scrapbooking paper is because it looks like pictures are hung on a wall in all different shapes and sizes, but like in a row. So that is what I'm trying to mimic here on my terracotta pot. So I'm going to place the stickers all over the pot, but then cut some down to size so it looks like it is a cohesive piece. I do use scissors in some areas, and then I use an X-Acto knife in other areas, but it is a super simple DIY, and you can use this with any type of stickers you want. I just really wanted this pot to look like an old medical pot with all of the bones and pictures of the inside of the body. I just love that look. Once that was done, all I needed to do was seal my pot, and I just used Rust-Oleum clear sealer and waited for that to dry, and that completes this DIY. I just put some Dollar Tree floral right into it, but I absolutely loved how this pot turned out. It is so cool. I really think it would look better with a nice dark green plant that's coming all out of it. So I'm going to have to save up so I can put one in there. Moving right into our next DIY, TEMU has these wooden pieces that come with the jute twine, and when I saw these, I knew I had so many DIYs that I want to do with them. As you see here, they come in different shapes and sizes. They look perfect for like Halloween signs, and I believe 11 came in this pack. Not sure if they gave me an extra one by mistake, but I love it regardless. The first one I wanted to use was this one that looked like a little ticket. Now, to decorate my little piece, I also purchased these from TEMU. They are fox leather pieces, and they come in all different colors and different designs. Now, the first three were more of a glittery pattern. This one was more of a leather pattern. And look at all of these fall colors and Halloween prints. They are absolutely gorgeous. Now, I just picked out the chiffon piece. Now, to attach my wooden piece to the fake leather, I am just going to use my hot glue gun. Now, to maximize the fabric as much as possible, I'm just going to line up the edges to the wooden piece so that I have a little bit left over if I want to create more DIYs with that print. Now, as you see here, I just added a generous amount of hot glue, pressed it down firmly so that it can attach. Next, I'm going to take a nice X-Acto blade and cut off the excess fabric from both the top and the bottom of the sign. After I was done with that, I just flipped it back over, and it is now time to assemble everything together. Now, I want to put this wooden piece into this floating picture frame from Dollar Tree. Now, at first I was just going to remove the little picture inside, but I removed the glass totally. There was 2 pieces of glass in that picture frame, and I just removed one. Then I will flip it back over and attach that sign right in the center of the glass. Once again, I am attaching it using my hot glue gun so that it can adhere to the glass. Now, it does pop off if I ever want to change it. That's why I like to use my hot glue gun, so I have many times to repurpose any of my material. Now, next, I want to use some of these vintage stickers that I purchased from the 99-cent store with this wooden piece, and I fell in love with this little kitty cat coming out of the pumpkin. I added the little kitty cat right on top of my little wooden piece, and look how adorable this looks. Very vintage, but I noticed that the cat wasn't holding up, so I just took a Elmer's glue stick and placed it all on the back side of our little window cling, and then press down firmly, and it's holding up nicely. The last thing I wanted to do was age the picture frame just a little, and I'm using my bronze basic acrylic paints once again. After I was done, that completes this DIY. I absolutely loved how this picture frame turned out. This is super adorable, very easy to do. It was super adorable that I had to make at least one more to make a matching pair because I have the perfect place to put these when I'm ready to decorate. Which leads us right into our next DIY. Now, TEMU has these vintage ornaments that are absolutely adorable. You must try and see if you can find these. They have all sorts of different vintage photos that are these little wooden cutouts that are supposed to be little ornaments, but I want to make another little picture. I think they're absolutely adorable. Now, I have more ideas coming up, but for right now, I just wanted to show you what I did with one of these designs. To begin, I have another picture frame that I had in my stash, and I'm just going to remove all of the contents that are inside of the picture frame. Then I am going to take it outside and spray paint it using my flat Rust-Oleum spray paint in the color black. For the inside of this picture frame, I am going to decorate it with the paper that I purchased from TEMU and this little vintage ornament that I showed you earlier, which is absolutely adorable. Now, I am going to cut down that paper down to size, and I'm just using the backing of the picture frame to help guide me. Next, I'm going to hot glue it down into place so everything is nice and snug and held up nicely. Now I wanted this to be a layered look, so I'm taking a second piece of paper, holding the ornament up to it and basically eyeballing it to make sure I cut off enough so that you can see it behind the ornament. I place that into the center of the picture frame and glue it into place, and then lastly I'm gluing that little ornament right in the center. Now this is beautiful just as is, but it was missing a little something, so I am going to use these little sliders that I purchased from TEMU. They are absolutely so cute. I believe 100 come in a pack, and I'm just going to add 3 of them right onto my little canvas here. As you see here, there was one on top, one on to the side, and one on the other side. Then I'm going to put everything together, and that completes this DIY. Look how adorable this picture frame turned out. Absolutely gorgeous. I did put another layer of that bronze color right on top of my picture frame just to give it another age look, but it looks super adorable with both of my picture frames together. Now I have a perfect idea where I'm going to put this, but make sure that you are subscribed so that you don't miss out where I place these in my home. Moving right into our next DIY, TEMU has these wooden cutouts of pumpkins that come with a jute string as well, and they are a decent size and they're really thick, so make sure you download that app so you don't miss out on these great deals. Now I am going to use about 3 of these pumpkins, and I just love that they have this added detail of a leaf right on the top corner here. One other piece that I'm going to use from TEMU is these wooden words that they have on their website as well, and I'm just going to use the one that says Happy Halloween. Now that I have my pieces picked out, it is now time to paint. The first pumpkin is going to be painted with this Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin, and I'm just going to give it a nice thick layer of that paint all over the pumpkin. Next, I flip over my pumpkin so that I can start painting on the leaf and the stem. For the leaf, I'm using my Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Irish Green, and then for my stem, I'm going in with my Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Java. After I was done painting in the leaf and the stem, I watered down my paintbrush, and using the leftover Java paint, I am adding some details all over the pumpkin to give it those lines that naturally come on with the pumpkin. Then I will blend it out with using that brown and more of the pumpkin color just so it gives it a nice detailed look. After I was done painting my pumpkin, I then wanted to paint my word, and all I am using is some black acrylic paint to paint in my word. Once that was done, I did wait for them to completely dry before adding them together. I'm just going to use a little dollop of hot glue on the back of the word and then place it right in the center of my painted pumpkin. Now for the other 2 pumpkins, they are going to be decorated differently. I'm going to use some of that fox leather sheets that I had earlier, this one in a candy corn pattern. I'm just going to place it right on top of my pumpkin and then hot glue it down into place. After I glue it down, I then take an X-Acto knife and cut it off all along the edges. Then I will paint the leaf and the stem like I did with the first pumpkin. For my third pumpkin, I want to cover it using some fabric that I purchased from TEMU. These fabric pieces are amazing as well. They have these bold prints and they are perfect for the Halloween and fall season. The one that I really fell in love with was this white one that has a bunch of different potions and designs on it. So that is the one I'm going to use. Once again, I am just going to place it right on top of my pumpkin. But before I adhere it down, I am going to paint it white so that you won't be able to see the wood color showing through the fabric because these fabric pieces are a little bit thin. After I was done painting, I did once again just hot glue it down into place and then painted the leaf and the stem the same way that I painted the first 2 pumpkins. Now that all three of my pieces are done, it is now time to assemble everything together. So I am placing the Happy Halloween right in the center. The one with the candy corns will be on the bottom, and the one with the white fabric will be on top. Now to attach everything, I'm just using my hot glue gun and placing a big dollop on the back of it and pushing down firmly. I wanted to add a stake on the bottom because I want to place these pumpkins right into a little pot. So I am attaching a dowel rod to the last pumpkin, and I'm going to secure it using a bunch of hot glue. Now I have a really hard time making bows, so I found these little clips on TEMU that are absolutely adorable. Not only does it have printed fabric, it also has this little acrylic piece in the center, and I'm going to use these as my bows for my little pumpkins. The last thing I needed to do was add it to a pot, and that completes this DIY. I absolutely loved how these turned out. Now if you are not into creepy, scary stuff, this is a perfect DIY that you can use to decorate your home. It's very cutesy, and there's so many different ways that you can make these. Now if you are into creepy and scary, you know as much as I do, I love to paint the back of these signs. So that is what I did. I first painted them looking like pumpkins, and then I'm going to give each one of these pumpkins a scary face. I love to freehand draw my stuff, but if you are not confident, you can always download a picture or have the stickers from Dollar Tree or even TEMU. You can find little pumpkin faces to add onto these pumpkins. The possibilities are pretty much endless with this one. It's just really up to your creativity, and the best part about it is that you will have a two-sided sign. Now as I'm painting my pumpkins, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free. But don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. But I would really love for you to be part of our virtual art family where I do a bunch of DIYs with an artistic twist. If you are a ready subscriber, thank you so much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here. If you are enjoying today's content, please don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It really does help out my channel. And if you know any other person who loves spooky DIY Halloween decor, please feel free to share this video. It does help out my channel as well. Here's how the other side of the pumpkin sign turned out, and I absolutely love all of their little faces. Now you let me know which side was your favorite. Was it the cutesy side, or was it these creepy faces pumpkin side? Moving right into our next DIY, which isn't really a DIY, more of a hack. TEMU is selling a bunch of Halloween shower curtains, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I purchased this vintage one, and what I like to use these are for backdrops or decor for your doors throughout your house. Now, all I did was throw it over my bathroom door and secure it with a little bit of tape on the other side. These would add such a pop of color, especially if you're having a party and just need something really quick to throw up so that it can look like a nice festive Halloween party. I just had to share this hack for an easy DIY to use. For our next DIY, I have one of those wooden pieces, and then TEMU are selling these really small half circles, which you can use with a bunch of DIYs, but I am using them for this wooden piece. I'm going to place each one of those half circles in the little edges of this wooden sign so that I can have a little border. Then when I was done placing them all over the sign and had as much as I needed, I am now going to hot glue them into place using my hot glue gun. Once I was done securing each one of those half circles, the last thing I needed to do for the back part was to paint it, and I am going to paint it in a black acrylic paint and then place that to the side to dry. After it was completely dry, I then took a Dollar Tree spider and I'm going to hot glue that right into the center of our sign here. I then made sure that it was nice and centered, and then I wanted to add a jute twine to the back of this sign so that I can hang it up. I'm just using the jute twine that the boards come with, and all I did was fold it onto itself so that the jute twine was a little thicker. Then I added little beads of hot glue on the back of it, and I'm just going to push the twine right into it. I did add a little bit of tape for extra stability. Once that was done, I just wanted to add one more detail, which is my bronze basic acrylic paint right over these little half circles so that it would add a added detail and make it look a little vintage. And that is it for this DIY. I absolutely loved how this turned out. It is super simple, and I want to do it more with other insects so that I have a collection. I also made a second one with a bigger spider, and for the backing I just used one of those wooden pumpkins that I used earlier. Well, my friends, that completes today's DIYs. I had a blast making each and every one of these. Like I mentioned before, this one has to be hands down my favorite out of all of the DIYs today, but I would love to know which one was your favorite down in the comments section below. Remember, friends, if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free, but don't forget to click on the bell notification so that YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. Plus, I would love for you to be part of our virtual art family. If you would like to see more photos of all of the DIYs that were in today's video, don't forget to check out my other socials. All of the links are down in the description box below. I have a Facebook and an Instagram page. I would love for you to go over there and say hello. Remember, friends, TEMU is having their 1-year anniversary sale for the whole month of September, and it is almost over, so make sure you go check that out so you can save 90% off of their selected products and shop their $1 anniversary sale. All of the links are down in the description box below and in the pinned comment as well. Make sure you download the free app and then use my coupon code down in the description box and located over here so that you can get your free $100 coupon for their bundle sale. Once again, thank you so much, TEMU, for sponsoring today's video, and thank you for everyone who took the time and came along with me and created some awesome DIYs. I really hope you enjoy, and as always, I will see you in the next one.